feel like
it just go beyond, you know?
As a
Okay, I'm back. I had some technical issues where the audio was frizzing up a bit, but you didn't miss much. They were just talking.
black woman, I just feel like I'm constantly underestimated.
Yeah.
Over and over again, and it has definitely worked to my advantage in that method, whether that's in school, whether that's with men, whether that's with conversation. I'm constantly underestimated. So yeah.
Do you experience direct racism in the dating world? Have you? I know, Courtney, you've had experiences before that I could quote for you, but I'll let you talk for yourself. But have you experienced that from people before, wherein that it's not even implied that perhaps it's because I'm a black woman, I'm experiencing this, or I'm not getting the response I want? They've literally said something to make that clear.
I dated someone that I was going natural, wearing my hair in a natural state, and I was getting ready. We were getting ready to go to something harmless like the movies, where it's dark. Doesn't matter what my hair looks like. We're going here for a movie. And he literally said, well, can you put your white girl hair on? Mm-hmm. Referring to a weave or...
But these bitches, weren't these women complaining about black men not swiping them? But you can do this natural hair shit. Wasn't she talking just a few minutes ago about don't judge me for my weave and my extensions and all that shit? But when, you know... She can be natural for the white boy. And then the white boy turns around and says, hey. Sorry. And then the white boy's like, hey, you know, I think you should put that weave back on. How ironic.
And I was like, no. This is what I like. And like to hear someone that
and you know, even if, you know, maybe it wasn't even through racist intentions, maybe he just liked the hair like that. You know, maybe he just liked the hair like that. You know, so was he wrong for wanting his girlfriend to have a preference look that favored his views? I don't think he was wrong. It's just awkward because he's white or assumably a non-black man. But hey, if, you know, the thing is that even if it was a black man and he said, hey, I want you in your natural hair, you're going to give him so much resentment, feedback, and unnecessary hostility to where there's really even no point for you to even argue with this woman or whether or not she should go natural. It's a pointless argument.
So kind of dating in a relationship with say these things that you're trying to force a standard on me and not accepting me for who I am was.
But in reality, a lot of black women will not accept black men for who they are. So even if you're 5'4", pro-black, you're still not considered masculine enough. I know I'm kind of diving into a different topic, but I'm really tired of this whole don't judge me, I'm me. But then again, they have all the mouth, they have all these things they want to get off their chest to say on how bad and narcissistic you are for giving them a standard to live by.
Very self-deprecating.
Yeah.
It made me think twice about what my worth was because my hair was in a certain way or...
Date a black man. That simple.
I was loud as a black woman and I'm like, this is who I am. And it sucks because it's like you're not only being rejected by the outside people, but when you do date people who get closer, they do slide those little notions in there in those comments of like, are you sure you like this about yourself? Like, oh, I wish you were lighter skinned, or I wish you had.
Have you had someone literally say that to you before?
Like that I was lighter toned? Yes.
Yeah. Like verbatim, somebody has
I wish
said,
it's like, wow, you probably look a little bit better lighter tone. I probably would.
What's nuts is because your complexion is it's an even most striking feature.
Perfect.
It's like,
thank you.
Utterly amazing.
Thank you.
Deshaun, have you ever experienced overt racism?
See, that's troubling because you would think she's light skinned, but it's just the brightness. So, whatever.
Say not particularly over or not anything similar to what Courtney has experienced. I think my thing is more so calling out some sort of perceived proximity to whiteness, because a lot of people look at.
Oh, okay, I misspoke. So really, I didn't really misspoke. I kind of missed it, but I caught on. So basically, these are just, again, Sean Booty is trying to get a black female audience, but with these girls, which I've noticed before, they're not really the stereotypical Keisha. You can tell that they date out, they're valley girls, they probably went to a PWI, they're not the blackest girls in the group, and truth be told, they probably don't even fit in with other black girls. So so of course with them, they're going to date white men, and that's probably their preference, and that's totally fine with me. But the problem is that you have to catch on, because then you have to assume that okay, the girl with the glasses was complaining about a guy wanting her to be lighter skinned, so you would assume that's a black guy. And then with the racism, you would have to assume it's a white guy. And this is the issue that I have, is I put context on the skin tone.
Me, and the first question, this even happened to me yesterday. I was at a bar and a guy was like, "So what are you mixed with?" I was like, "We've been communicating this whole time." I was like, "I'm not mixed with anything. Mom's black, dad's black. That's it. Like, that's all I've got for you. It's like Mississippi and West Virginia in American history. Like, that's it." But it's not the first time that I've heard that or anything. And I'm just like, so is that what attracts you to me? Is that perceived proximity, or are you just really into me as the successful black woman that I am?
And I think the
successful black woman that I am. This is the annoying thing about, I can literally go down the line of YouTube, and you will constantly, even with this individual, you will still get annoyed to freaking death about how freaking awesome they are, how freaking amazing they are, and how better than they are than you. They're more educated than you, and you have to constantly hear this narcissistic shit, and they still whine, bitch, and complain, and they do not understand why they're single.
Tend to do is to maybe not even overcompensate, but we try to explain ourselves and why we do want to wear our hair natural, and we're not mixed, and we go through that whole process as a black woman, and then we may come off as aggressive or all those negative stereotypes that people label us as. And then it's like, that wasn't even our intention. We just want to live in our authentic self. And why isn't?
If somebody was to ask me, out of the 4 or 3 women on the panel, who would you date? Honestly, I would date her. You would I would kind of just dress her up a little bit, but I can put up with her.
Had enough.
Absolutely.
And so for you, never having had someone said that, how do you know that it impacts your relationships?
That's a good question. I think for me, it wouldn't necessarily be. I think that this is what's stopping me in my tracks, because I literally just had a conversation with 2 successful black men, and one of them literally told me that they only prefer to date white women. And this was at a bar with other black women that I met, and we were all having a conversation, and it really
black people have to get out of this stupid mindset that like minds work together. Okay, nobody is looking for a mirror reflection. This is a myth that black people, especially black women, need to get their head out of their ass and stop believing into that myth that if you put 2 people of 2 different genders and they are in the same proximity to do the same thing, they'll make the same amount of money, that they will just magically bond because they're black. It doesn't work like that.
Me because of the reasoning. It was very stupid. I can wake up with oral sex from them and you guys don't do that. And I'm like, that's your reasoning?
Did you speak to the black woman president who gave you a list of the do's and do nots and was like, look, if you want to enter the club.
Sean, please shut up. Your husband is bisexual or looks suspect. So please stop fucking talking. You know, there's a video where I have to clown her, but whatever. And so what? The other girl's a masseuse. You think she's not having random sex? You don't think all these other girls are having random sex? Why is the black man the bad? You didn't even question these white boys who are giving you a hard time with these racial slurs. But you give black men a gripe and an axe to handle because he wants to wake up to feeling manly and feeling something. And you know, what does a black man wake up to when he sees you or when he dates you? You know, he probably has to get up on his own and watch you eat breakfast. And he doesn't even get anything. He has to pour his own goddamn cereal. So again, these when you ask black women to do something, they'll compare it to slavery, and it's tiresome. You know, black men are just looking for a woman that can listen and do random spontaneous things. It's like, you know, we would love to wake up and see a beautiful, you know, woman in lingerie, you know, fancy us with food and have our clothes ironed. To black women, this is such a far-fetched thing to where they want us to wake up. They want us to wake up at 3 a.m., cook dinner, and then worship their feet and talk about how educated they are and this, that, and the third. It's like, you guys have it so backwards.
Where did he collect this? Where's this sentence coming from?
I have no clue, but I was like, okay, that's your narrative. That's very interesting.
You know, I've heard the same thing from like, I have a cousin, younger cousin, and his whole thing is that he likes white women for the same reasons. And I'm just like, but why? Like, how is that changing anything? Like, why do you have this perception? And it's something that I don't understand. And him being so young, because I'm only 26, so him being like younger than 24 is just like, well, where'd you get this from?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Gen Z and Generation Alpha are already on TikTok, you know, and we've seen this before to where in the early stages of TikTok, black men were just Gen Z was just wild to where they were just like, hey, white girls only. And it got so bad that TikTok even had to ban half those videos. So you're gonna have a hard time even finding, you know, videos of black men, you know, upping white women. But here's the thing. I don't understand why she's uptight, and what black man was uptight about her dating white men? What black man was uptight about that? But you can date out, you can have options, you can taste the rainbow. Hell, you can probably be bisexual. But, you know, a black man has to stay with a black woman because of insecurities of race loyalty. But you were just laughing at the other woman who couldn't even envision a black relationship to where a black man wakes up in the morning receiving head. And that's a far-fetched reality they can even see or do. But you're wondering why your nephew has no interest in dating black. Because they already know they're not going to get anything out of it.
When did you come to a space where you gave yourself permission to be beautiful or to be seen as beautiful? And did you have to make that decision? Was that, I guess, back to that marketing.
This is a stupid
Was
question.
that choice that you are beautiful, that you are desired, made for you, or did you have to make it for yourself?
So I say that idea for me came from when I went to Spelman. So being surrounded by beautiful black women who were successful, who were doing
narcissism. But you know, whatever. And you know, they can't let it go. They always have to remind themselves of how successful and better than you are. But will the same woman talk about her rejections or how she probably even never talked to the black men of Morehouse? So again, this so-called success is killing you in the inside because you don't believe you're beautiful. And we're slowly seeing the crumbling of black women who are saying that they're top echelon women because they have an odd job or they intern for some bullshit company you never even heard of, and we're seeing them crumble because you know we don't give them the time of day. And honestly, I don't even understand why we even should give them the time of day. I couldn't put up with this shit. I couldn't put up with having to hear her fucking praise of how better she is, or how more educated she is, or how her getting her PhD makes me less than a man. Like, who the fuck wants to wake up to that shit?
Everything just being so amazing. So obviously Spelman being a historically black college has that marketing there.
Yes.
That's what they're promoting. That's what they're trying to get. They're trying to get the women who matriculate there to...
But it's pointless. You can raise these women to be millionaires, but, you know, what's the point if you're not gonna, you know, be with black men who are of like mind or better? So it's pointless. You can raise these women to be whatever, and they still have opinions, you know, and I can pretty assure you that the majority of black women in Spelman aren't even much better or worse than her. So you can raise them to be whatever. But hey, you know, I'm pretty sure you're in bed at most of her classmates are not even married and still trying to figure out, and they're probably still dating like they're 16 again.
Have that confidence to see themselves
First
a
of
way
all,
that
words matriculate. Thank you for that. Go ahead.
Who just see themselves and follow kind of in the footsteps of the women who came before. But it wasn't until I was surrounded by beautiful black women who were working for Goldman Sachs and me working for NASA and my friends